Before the break, we asked our studio audience, should convicted sex offenders be allowed to freely re-enter society? And here's how the audience voted. 67% said no, 20% was not sure. Well, if anything positive can come out of the tragedy of the Penn State sexual abuse charges, it's that victims of sexual abuse in sport are reaching out to help others. Glenn Allen is a counselor for male survivors of childhood sexual abuse. He's a sports broadcaster who was just 7 years old when he was first sexually abused at the hockey rink, and he's been picking up the pieces on this issue ever since. Glenn, thank you for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime I can get out to try and make a difference, I'm here.
Your abuse recovery groups really unpacked this Penn State thing. What did it trigger off in survivors?
Well, I think the biggest thing that came through from my Hamilton group is the fact that, again, here's another group of people who have put it under the rug and thought that they could just walk away with it, or walk away and to hell with the victims. Who cares about the little children that they were back in the 70s or early 80s or whatever?
What kind of consequences are these kids going to be showing in their lives? What do you expect?
Well, I mean, for the most part, I mean, there's a small percentage that is 3% or less will become abusers themselves. And what happens for the most part is a lot of them are going to do what I did. When I played hockey, I got to take out my frustration and my rage through fighting. I exhibited, when I went to school, I'd fight on the playground. So there's the physical aspect of it, there's a verbal aspect of it. And you will see many of these, or some of these victims, there's a stat that's out there that says, that says over 90% of long-term incarcerated males were sexually abused as children. And they acted out, many of them, through through physical and verbal aggression.
Your aggression got so bad, you nearly destroyed yourself. You went down the road, like our previous guest, Sheldon Kennedy, into addictions. Police bursted into your hotel room with, you were having a cocaine-induced heart attack. How did you recover? Well,
a lot really through that, what happened in that room was, through all that horrific suicide attempt, was a divine intervention, if you will.
But you also were angry at God. You walked out of the church because all of this abuse was going on while you had this nice family church scene happening at home.
Yeah, well, my parents took us to church until we were 16. And then at 16, we were allowed to make our own decision. And at 16, I made my decision, and I bolted from the church because I didn't want any part of, every time somebody talked about this loving God, I mean, my abuse is going on over an 8-year period, starting at the age of 7 or 8, okay? My abuse is going on and off until I was 15. So, and I told when I was 7, the first time it happened when I was 7 or 8 in that year, I told. And nobody did anything. And I'm hearing about this loving God.
And yet you credit a divine intervention for pulling you out of your self-destructive end road.
Over and over in your life, people talking about this loving God, and this anger built up inside of me. It built up for so many years. And even after the abuse stopped, I blamed the abuse for every single problem that I had. You can understand when I hear people and trying to explain, like I would hear someone talk like you, and you talk so passionately about your faith. Well, so I would hear someone talk about that, and you would drive me nuts because, see, I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to feel that. All I knew is that I was so angry. I can't tell you how angry I was because this is a nice show.
Okay, we're going to come back and
All right.
find out how you crossed that line then
Okay.
to reach for that piece.
All right.
All right, right back. Finding trust after you've lost everything.